Good day, readers and listeners, and welcome to another episode of Tom's Rapid Reviews. This week's episode is going to be a little different. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about World Autism Acceptance Week 2022. Telling you a little bit about the support you can get from Surrey libraries. Let me tell you a little bit about what World Autism Acceptance Week is all about. It's a week where groups are encouraged to talk about and engage with autism, with a new focus on acceptance. The observance used to be known as Autism Awareness Week, but now the focus is less on raising awareness and more on achieving equality for people with autism, especially in education, which is this year's theme. It should also be noted that the UN recognises and observes World Autism Awareness Day, which this year took place on the 2nd of April. While the week runs from the 29th of March to April 4th this year. Charity Beyond Autism describes the long-term goal of inclusiveness in education like this. We want an inclusive world where autistic people are accepted in society and able to live a life of choice and opportunity. Now, if you search World Autism Awareness Week online, you'll have access to plenty of information and resources from charities and organisations that can help you if you want to better understand autism. But we know that not everyone feels comfortable online, or perhaps they simply prefer the greater depth that a book can provide. This is where Surrey Libraries comes in. We have a health category in our non-fiction collection, which contains books to help educate on a range of topics related to mental, physical and spiritual well-being, including autism. I'd like to recommend that you search this collection. When doing so, it may be worth talking to a librarian about what you want to know, researching in conjunction with advice from your GP, or even contacting an autism charity or organisation to help you narrow down what will be most beneficial for you. There are, after all, a lot of books to choose from. In addition to these non-fiction books, Surrey Libraries does have adult fiction titles that involve and engage with autism. It's a unique condition, and in my research for this episode, I found that lots of well-meaning titles are not always welcomed by advocacy groups. Sometimes a lack of research from the author or controversial content can hold these books back, and so I've decided to leave adult fiction to the individual's own decision. What I do want to talk about though, especially given this year's theme of education and equality within education, is some fiction titles for children which can help to educate on and engage with autism. I'll be choosing a few from the Book Trust's reading list of good books for children and teens on the matter. The whole list can be found on our website. And I'll highlight a few books which Surrey Libraries has access to now. Let's start with a picture book called Talking Is Not My Thing. This is a lovely picture book featuring a loving family of a sister, a brother and a grandparent as lead caregiver. The children play games and play tricks on each other as any other siblings would. And the difference here is that the sister is on the autistic spectrum and is non-verbal. Useful teachings about how talking isn't the only form of communication are given, but not in an overbearing way. This book is recommended for children between 3 and 7. Next, I'd like to recommend a novel for slightly older children, between the ages of 9 and 11. Can You See Me is a story about Tally, an autistic girl about to start secondary school and who's worried about fitting in. Rebecca Westcott wrote this book in collaboration with young blogger Libby Scott, who is 13 and who is also on the autistic spectrum. It presents a story that will feel familiar to any child going from primary to secondary school, while also exploring the unique challenges that an autistic child faces. Finally, for this episode, let's talk about London Eye Mystery. Good for readers of ages 9 and above, this book features Ted, a boy who has Asperger's and who likes statistics and routine, as he and his older sister Kat try to find their missing cousin, who disappeared whilst riding the London Eye. Focusing on the mystery rather than Ted's Asperger's, the book is engaging and Ted himself endearing. This book is also available as an ebook on the Libby app. Well, that's it from me this week, readers. If you've enjoyed this video or found it useful, please consider liking it, subscribing to Surrey Library's YouTube channel, or leaving a comment down below if you're watching on Facebook. Whatever you do though, please look after yourselves, borrow books, and I'll see you next time for another of Tom's Rapid Reviews.